just like that, TJ, we're on our last match of the day.
Wow.
And it's a fun one. It's a battle between two friends, Firebat versus Purple, a Yugi versus Joey moment, if you will. A non-priest protect coming out from Purple.
Bold.
And Firebat not banning it.
Bold.
I mean, it's bold, but at the same time, it's a little bit different. Firebat does have the OTK Paladin, and as we have heard Firebat say, he feels like the Paladin is good versus the Priest. So he's not afraid.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe Purple thinks the same thing too.
We'll see. It didn't work out so well for, was it Firebat last week who lost that matchup? I think it was somebody else.
Firebat lost the Warrior versus the Paladin.
He lost. He was on the Warriors' perspective at that matchup, yeah. But we saw, I think, even a couple priests snowball against Paladins last week. So I don't know if what he said is going to hold true. I think Paladin needs some really good panouts in order to beat Priest, or Priest needs to kind of beat itself, which does happen sometime. But we'll see. It's a potential that we will see that matchup. There's a potential that we won't. But I do like the Warrior bans on both sides. That means we have another potential for a very quick series. And
That's a little bit too fast for me, TJ. I'm not going to lie. I want to watch more Hearthstone.
I do, but
I think people in the chat want to get more packs from the drops.
I think I just want to watch action-pack Hearthstone. And the last series was a quick series, but it wasn't that action-packed because it was pretty one-sided. I like to see the series like, I guess PNC versus Race was very action-packed, but quite slow because it turned into a Control Shaman versus Control Druid matchup almost instead of Quest Shaman, Quest Druid. But first game looks like it's going to be Priest for Purple and Priest for Firebat. I mean, well, it seems like players want to protect Priest and queue Priest early, and even though Purple didn't protect his Priest, he still wants to queue it early.
Yep, and we still get a Priest mirror. We've had 10 protects today from the Americas. We've had 9 combo Priest protects.
And
Purple.
1 Druid protect.
1 Druid protect. Over in Europe, we've had 6 Priest protects and 4 Warrior protects. In Asia Pacific, we had 4 Druids, one of them being Malygos Druid. Shaxi actually just said, you know what, I'm just going to protect my Malygos Druid. Don't ban it. To which Bloodshow said, okay, I wasn't going to anyway. And then we had 2 Warrior protects, a Hunter protect, 2 Priest protect, Zoo Warlock protect. What I'm trying to drive at is, if you aren't watching Asia Pacific and you like the amount of diversity and the weird, wacky APAC-y, and you really like posh British accents, and you like Raven getting bullied, definitely go watch APAC. It starts at 2 a.m. It's about 12 hours ago is when, or yeah, 13 hours ago is when they start broadcast. For reference for people who don't have convenient access to time zone converters.
Turns out you do.
I don't get to really watch much APAC because it's really early and just the action's really fast and furious. Does Derek bully Raven at all?
Not nearly as much as you'd hope.
I think it's probably because
it's occasional.
For them, it's kind of like a sanctuary for both of them because Derek gets bullied a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's like the 2 of them together get to have group therapy.
Yeah, they do.
Silence, Inner Fire. I like this play from Firebat. It's a fairly aggressive play in the sense that it just uses a lot of his resources.
This is how I play Priest. Sato can attest because we jammed a lot of games where I was playing the Priest yesterday. And he was playing Zoo Warlock, and there were some games where I would just spend my entire hand on turn 1 and have like a 7/7.
Was Sato complaining?
He was, because I would then proceed to draw the perfect card off the top over and over again.
If there's one thing that Sato likes to talk about more than the fact that he thinks he's right all the time, is the fact that he thinks TJ draws amazingly well and every time they practice against each other. And it's great, because TJ's supposed to practice with me, because we're both America's casters. We're supposed to play America's deck. Sato's supposed to practice with Admirable because they're both Europe Grandmasters casters, and they should be practicing with each other with European decks. But because of this interesting rivalry going on, great draw from Firebat, by the way. Because of the rivalry goes on between Sato and TJ, they only like to practice with each other, and it's so endearing to watch Sato descend further into madness every week that TJ top decks him.
Yeah, it's I can't even explain it. For some reason against Sottle, I just draw really well, and it just makes him unreasonably upset.
It's the Hunter Ace and Orange dynamic.
Like
for some reason, Orange beats Hunter Ace like every single time, but Hunter Ace beats like everyone else.
Like the amount of times I've heard, I don't know why I even bother practicing with you. You can't even get a good sense of who's favored because you're just drawing the nuts every game.
Yes, he says that every week.
Like, I'm pretty sure if we went back in the day and played Control Warrior versus Freeze Mage,
you'd beat him every time.
We would come out of that practice thinking that Freeze Mage was the overwhelming favorite because I would be playing it. Meanwhile, there's a Priest Mirror happening. Firebat did go all in early on the Northshire Cleric, but was able to be rewarded with a couple draws off of it. And now it's up to Purple to kind of fight back. And the Acolyted Pain, Purple could heal Firebat's face in order to trade over the Acolyted Pain for value. But if he does that, he only has 2 mana remaining, which means that his plays are pretty weak beyond that. Also in his pool is he's got a Beaming Sidekick, a Northshire Cleric, an Injured Tolvir, and a Wild Pyro, looks like, in his pool. So pretty inconsistent all the way across the board. Ooh, extra arms.
That's a great pickup. I mean, he didn't really need it. He could have just healed and then traded into it. But it's nice because at least on the surface, it looks like the Light Warden can't die.
Ooh, so Beaming Sidekick, Inner Fire, Trade, and Heal was the play that stood out to me. The problem with that, though, is then your hand is Topsy-Turvy, double Wild Pyromancer.
What about Topsy-Turvy instead?
Yeah, I think utilizing a Wild Pyromancer here makes more sense.
Do you like to play with fire?
Just because the Wild Pyromancer is a card that's going to be hard to use.
Yeah, got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Firebat playing very tempo-oriented.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Nicely done.
It feels really terrible to try and fight from behind in this matchup. Just because outside of Wild Pyromancer plus a lot of good spells, they are okay with throwing away, like Power Word Shields, Silence, Topsy-Turvy.
Hey, I got you, friend.
It just... Fighting back feels impossible.
Yeah, Purple getting the short end of the stick with the revive there. He had Injured Tolvir that he was hoping to get, Northshire Cleric or a Light Warden.
The end begins.
Injured?
And Firebat consequently gets card draw.
I don't know why, but Priest Mirrors...
They tickle you?
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's... I don't think I like it, but I'm unsure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You're not sure if you like it or dislike it.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered today, I feel like there's a little bit too much importance placed on an early Northshire Cleric. And by a little too much, I mean way too much.
Yeah.
But if both players get to start off with Cleric, I feel like it's an interesting battle back and forth. In fact, I actually would say that the best games of Priest Mirrors are where neither player starts with Cleric.
You have best.
Concede from Purple. Firebat takes game number 1 with the Priest and is off to a 1-0 lead. Very dominant game based off that early game development.
Yeah.
I mean, Purple a couple weeks ago was tweeting at me after the nerfs were now saying that Priest isn't really a combo deck, even though we call it Combo Priest, and even though it's labeled as Combo Priest online, he says it's an aggro deck. And based off the way the matchup kind of goes back and forth, it feels kind of like an aggro mirror, right? Where it's often decides super early. And, I mean, it felt kind of like the Zoo Warlock moment where it's just like, well, he's got a couple of minions that stick on board, and he lands a big buff, I lose. Very similar. Despite the fact that we have a decent amount of representation. 8 classes here. It feels like it's just been the story of one class today, TJ.
Yeah, it's, that's kind of the nature of how the format goes. Players saw somebody being really dominant with this deck last week, so they center their lineup on this deck. And next week, we'll probably see something different. We'll see a lot more players trying to target Priest, especially in the Americas, where it's even more popular than other regions.
Yep. Week 1 was about all the mages and the warriors. Week 2 is about the druids and the shamans. And week 3 is about the priest. It's different every week here in Grandmasters. We're going to take a break, our last of the day. When we come back, we'll see if Firebat, 2014 World Champion, can close out longtime friend in purple.
The shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There's surely scorching deserts, and there's your monster of narcissism. High stakes think annihilation, obliteration of civilization. Now is the time to be brave. Evil's come to enslave, but this league's gonna save the world.
My name is James Kostasich. My handle is Firebat. My username is based off the StarCraft player Firebat Hero. I was a fan of him and watched him on Twitch early on in his career, and then just named myself Firebat because I thought it was cool. Something about me that people don't know, I really hate spending money. I try and save it whenever I can. I recently learned how to repair a dishwasher so that I didn't have to buy a new dishwasher. I like doing stuff like that. I get a really good sense of accomplishment and pride whenever I'm able to salvage something. My favorite Hearthstone Esports memory is winning the 2014 World Championship. That was pretty tough to beat, but I'm hoping that one day I can beat that memory. Being in Grandmasters, to me, means that I get another chance to prove myself and show that 2014 wasn't a fluke and that I am still here to play. I mean, I love playing against my own region because I get to play against a lot of my friends, which is always like really fun and entertaining, and there's so many different mind games. But at the same time, I'd really love to play against Europe and really knock them down a few pegs because they're so cocky all the time. I look forward to winning the most and losing the least. I definitely don't want to lose, and I definitely want to win, so it's really simple.
My name is Ryan Murphy-Root. I go by Purple. I really like waking up. The first like 4 or 5 hours are like the best hours of the day. I like taking dogs for walks after my 8 hours of Hearthstone and my couple naps. Unique to me is like my ability to randomly deck people with just random decks that aren't supposed to function like that. I see shifts in patterns in the game where it is no longer possible to win the traditional way, and I tend to see those pretty early.
What are you afraid of?
Snakes, the dark, not necessarily in order. I'm not gonna tell you in which order they are though. Design a Hearthstone card. All right, 3/3, minor, Mac, remove all bombs from your deck. I had to play this one card in every single deck. Well, my boy Arthas just rotated, but my boy King Mukla, he's still in standard. Unfortunately, currently doesn't have a place, but I do like the giant ape sound. Personal goals for the year. Just win? Yeah, just win.
Firebat on the paladin. We'll find out if he can keep up his momentum going into game number 2. This is our potential last game of the day, which would be the shortest Grandmasters broadcast in America's history so far.
No. We had a 3-hour and 15-minute day last season in week 6.
Okay.
And we're past the 3-hour-and-a-half mark. I keep track of this stuff,
believe
Dan.
you.
No, we did.
Well, it's almost that point.
It was the Rogue Week.
This is like 3.5 hours.
Yes, yes. But it could be the second shortest day in Grandmasters history.
We'll see. Druid versus the Paladin. This is a matchup that can be pretty tricky for the Druid if they don't put enough pressure on. They do tend to play directly into the Paladin's hand early game. So Paladin can full mulligan for early draw and ignore things like defensive maneuvers. Purple is also...
What?
He kept Wild Pyromancer.
He kept both Wild Pyromancers.
No, I get it. Okay. So normally, if a deck starts off really slow, you're like, yeah, I have time to draw cards and assemble my my combos with Shirvallah. But Firebat keeps the Pyromancer because he knows that Purple can't deal with them because he's going to be busy passing. So he's going to deal chip damage.
Yes, but it gives him health to heal with Hidden Oasis.
Well, if Purple plays Ferocious Howl, he gets to chip the armor away.
All right, that makes more sense. I think the early chip damage is not as relevant because by the time you're comboing, especially if you're keeping Wild Pyromancers, and so you're drawing less, by the time you combo, they picked up Hidden Oasis. But I do buy into it for chipping off the armor early on in the game.
Well, he chips off the one armor here.
He chips off the one armor here, and you can obviously tell that the early game health is pretty irrelevant in Purple's mind because he's just going to hero power this Wild Pyromancer over 2 turns.
Is he going to hero power it?
Yeah, why? Why not? Well, unless Firebat decides to coin out Elven Archer.
This Acolyte of Pain is also pretty interesting. Yeah, I like drawing the cards immediately. I like that a lot better than letting your opponent remove it with Wrath. Purple had actually a very big punish with Keeper of the Grove.
Like the hero power.
Yeah. So one thing that I've kind of realized about this matchup is that Ferocious Howl is a really good late game tool because you get to heal and to full and then gain the armor before they burst.
Yep.
I hope you like my
However, even if Ferocious Howl is at its best, you're still within the range of the 50 damage, so you need a little bit more.
But it's not often that you have the luxury of being able to do that. The deck, we saw this matchup in Europe, I think. I can't remember who exactly was playing, but the amount of times that you're able to double combo against Druid are pretty limited because you often have to use those tools earlier on to heal. They have so many waves of threats that are must-kill threats that if you don't deal with, you die. And you only have like 2 things of removal with 1 equality, 1 shrink ray. You can time out to buy time, but that just gives the time for Druid to kind of heal up and gain that armor.
I hope you like my invention.
Crucially, Firebat, because he kept the Wild Pyromancers, is kind of ahead on board going into the quest completion turn. So it means he's not going to fall too far behind and can use some minions to kind of clear off the board, which may allow him to buy like 1 extra turn before he has to utilize one of those removals.
Yeah, Firebat run into a little bit of hand space issues. Flash of Light. Looks like he's keeping the board presence just a little bit, so that way he can utilize his True Silver Champion next turn against the Hidden Oasis. I like it. Little chip damage here and there. Plus, you never know. Maybe you draw to the bottom of your deck, your opponent keeps floating to 23 to 25 life, and you have Shirvallah kill next turn.
Yep.
Those kinds of things keep the Druid honest, in my opinion. Ooh, another Hidden Oasis.
That's good.
So now Firebat runs into a little bit of hand space issues, can start to dump play like True Silver and Pyromancer, but Pyromancer clear is pretty important, so maybe Soup Vendor instead.
Is there a world where purple can hold on to both innervates and double hidden oasis to get out of range a second combo?
Well, maybe.
Because he can use the first hidden oasis to heal out of the first combo. And then keep on both innervates and heal out of range of the second combo.
Yeah. Well, I got cheesed on ladder a few days ago. Actually, it happened last week.
I'm pretty sure you get cheesed on ladder every day, Dan.
But TJ, didn't I point
You
it
play
out?
a lot of ladder, and you also play a lot of decks that are cheesy themselves, so they get cheesed as...
It's part of the meta. You have to cheese. You fight cheese with cheese, TJ. Yeah.
All right, keep going on the story. Sorry for
So
interrupting.
I was playing a cheesy deck.
Okay.
Yeah, Feta, extra smelly. I was going up against a Holy Paladin, and he played Shirvala, Baleful Banker, Youthful Boommaster, Baleful Banker, and then just like double, like 50 feet straight up, like 2 Holy Wraths right there and then. I couldn't do anything. Yeah.
Because he has an empty deck with 3.
3 Shirvalas, draws 1, double Holy Wraths. I couldn't do anything. I was at Druid. I was at like 40. I was playing some combo Druid deck. I was like, okay, I've saved my heals. I saved my armor.
Dan, I think you got outplayed in the deck building process there.
Truly.
Like the early timeout from Firebat.
The swing kind of forces out the hidden oasis from purple. Not truly force it, but something that he'll consider doing. And then by doing so, Firebat can also clear afterwards. Keep in mind, Firebat also has Zephyrus, but now Zephyrus is 4 mana, TJ.
That's right.
Zephyrus offerings for 6 often gives you really big things develop. One of the big things that Zephyrus likes to offer me very often that I don't want is Earth Elemental. And yet sometimes having that 7/8 can be really good against Druid. Might be advisable Firebat to attack anyways, given that armor is agnostic to life total. So you do want to remove it eventually.
Yep.
3rd hidden oasis.
Oh no, the innervate!
It's an oasis party here.
Oh no! I had a dream, Dan. I had a dream. My dream is dead.
I have a dream to kill him.
Yeah, but that's not as fun.
So Firebat can draw the prismatic lens here.
He's actually super deep in his deck.
Yes, he's almost done.
Yeah, this is a very early.
Also, Shirvala is not drawn yet, TJ. We're talking about cheese.
Purple has played a Nourish, and Firebat's still drawn 10 more cards than him.
Wait, hold on. Also, Firebat, by playing the Prismatic Lens, had a chance for Shirvala to swap with the Holy Wrath.
Yeah,
which would have been really bad.
Yeah, that's kind of risky, but I think he realizes that.
Ooh, what a draw. But Firebat does have the timeout.
Oof.
And also, what are these stats?
Gets the former champ from the 5-drop, Arena Fanatic from the 4.
Junk.
Like, this is all below average.
Right. And now Firebat also still has the Zephyrus for the Brawl. He can go for Zephyrus Brawl. Oh, he gets the... He gets a Flash of Light, too. Oh, boy. Not out of the woods yet. Firebat still has to get through a little bit more heal. It's moments like this where having that Ultra Archer for the 26 point of damage sometimes is it's a pretty nifty thing. Blood Mage Thanos is used, not so 26 point of damage there is gone as well.
What to do?
Purple needs his second Ferocious Howl.
Second Ferocious Howl or draw his duplicates.
Yeah. Honestly, Zephyrus to shut down the weapon might be good.
I think, yeah, he needs to prevent the extra damage here with Hidden Oasis and then try and find lethal the next turn. He's still too far away from Zephyrus being active. He's drawn so many to have Swipe, to have Starfall, to have Hidden Oasis, to have Nourish. Yeah, there's almost no way that he draws enough to
duplicate to get the Zephyrus off.
Yeah, he still has 2 Crystal Merchants. He still has 2 Anubasoth Defenders.
Well, now he's going to go for the Holy Wrath, right? He can play Shirvala. He can kill. He can shuffle in Shirvala. He could draw with Flash of Light, shuffle in Shirvala and Holy Wrath, and then purple can't win anymore unless purple gets the counter lethal.
Which he has
5, 10, 15, 21, 2 swipes is 29.
Oh.
Let me count again. 2 5 attack means it's 10. Another pair of 5 attack, that's 15, plus the 6 remaining. So Firebat wisely taking damage off the board and then Flash of Light himself. And then can he also subdue? Does he have enough mana for that?
Quickly.
I don't think so. I think he has to Baleful Banker here. I think he has to Holy Wrath.
Oh no, because there would have been 1 fatigue tick.
Oh, the fatigue tick, you're right.
So that would have been exactly 30. So Firebat, that plays really good.
Very good for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
Scenarios, is that enough?
No.
17, 25. I'm not seeing it. I think Firebat checked every corner. Looked under the rug, scrubbed every dish.
It would have been 28 with Cenarius also.
Yeah, purple trying to navigate every possibility to get out of the situation, and it's not looking good.
Yeah. If Firebat had been greedy with that True Silver Champion swing, had not killed a minion and healed up with the Flash of Light, or the and attacked face with True Silver, he would have died. So very well played by Firebat in those last few turns there.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Nodding, smirking a little bit. Firebat's pleased with himself.
He should be.
Yes, he should be.
He very much so should be.
I think we can both agree.
Yeah, I want to ask
him. He should be.
I think Firebat should be.
You should be.
I want to ask him about the Wild Pyromancer keeps just to hear it from himself.
All right. Well, while we go ahead and chat with Firebat, who is on the line. James, you there?
Yo, how's it going?
Gotcha. Are you proud with how you played that game, that last game?
Yeah, I thought that was the cleanest I could do. I don't know, the last turn, I was like, it was really hard not to play Zephyrs and go for the clear. I was like, I need one more turn somehow. How do I do this? And then I was like, wait a minute. If I clear like this, and he has Cenarius, he's actually 2 damage off lethal. So, and he's used both Worthy Expeditions, so there's no way I can die. So I was like, I don't even need the Zephyrs. I just have the checkmate here. But yeah, and then there's that weird turn where he had 2 5/5s and a 6/6 out, and I was like, I have to Pyro Shrink Ray this. I have enough to get the clears there. But yeah, if I would have taken 2 points of damage in that game, I think I lose. So it was super tight. It's tough to get through all of that healing.
I think he also had, if by our count, what looked like to be 29 damage because he had double swipe, and you would have taken a fatigue damage immediately. So I think it would have been 30.
If you hadn't gone for the True Silver Champion into minion Flash of Light play, you would have died.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah. I died a Cenarius. I died a double swipe.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to clear there.
Yep.
Very tight play overall. Well done. Now, we talked a little about it on Omnistone, but for people who didn't get to check the podcast, first of all, shame on them. Second of all, why Paladin this week for you?
Paladin maybe doesn't have the best matchup spread. You know, people don't think it's the greatest, but it's my favorite deck, so I like it, so I play it.
You said Quest Hunter was your favorite deck.
Which one? Quest Hunter? Oh, yeah, Quest Hunter's up there. Quest Hunter.
Paladin's my favorite good deck. My favorite deck that's like tier 2, tier 1 kind of area. So it's like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of benefit to playing something you enjoy. So I play Paladin.
I think so, especially if it's a deck like Paladin where you can't just play it if you like it. You got to like really like it and really learn it because it's very much like a feast or famine type situation because we've seen some Holy Wrath Paladin play, which they look kind of silly because they messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 2-0 over Purple, I think game number 1, the Priest matchup, didn't really seem like too much there, but if there's anything that you want to call out specifically, is there anything that jumps out to mind?
I was really happy I went first that game. That's about it. Like if he goes first, that matchup goes the other way with the hands that we had. So thank goodness that I went first and got to play Northshire Cleric before he did.
Yeah. Do you find that kind of aggressive play, like using like Inner Fire super fast, is like that's what really defines that matchup? Like being able to spend your hand and like try to fight like all out for tempo?
Yeah, you just play every resource and try and get them off the board. Priest only works if you have the board, which is why, as a class, it can cause like really kind of boring sort of games. But the Inner Fire Priest literally doesn't work if you don't have the board. So you need to have the board. So in the mirror especially, when one deck is crippled by not having the board and the other is getting a bonus because it does have the board, you can see how that creates a disparity really quickly. So, yeah, there's been murmurs, right, that they might rework the Priest class in the future and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to that potentially being a thing because it does feel like Priest as a class right now is too feast or famine a lot of the times.
Fair enough. Speaking of which, we had 5 matches today, 9 classes or 9 choices to protect the combo Priest. Purple not protecting Priest, but end up playing Priest anyways. And it seemed like Priest seems to be dominating the American strategy. Europe, somewhat similar, although a lot of Warrior protects as well. But Asia Pacific not protecting Control Priest. Any commentary on as to why the West seems to value it highly versus the East?
Well, I think it's because it's Friday, actually, as weird as that sounds. But people want to get out and do stuff on Friday. Because I think everyone that protected Priest had the opportunity as well to protect Warrior in their lineup. And it was just a totally valid strategy. There's a lot of like really close matchups, and you can kind of decide either do I want to protect Priest or do I want to protect Warrior. And I think just because it's Friday and people are like, we want to get out and do stuff, they're like, I don't want to do these. I don't want Warrior mirrors, so I'm protecting Priest today instead. So,
well, it worked out. It's like a 3.5 hour broadcast. We're like done. This is the earliest we finished in a long time.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the earlier we get done, the more traffic I sit in on the way home. So joke's on them.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on me. Oh.
All right. Well, Firebat, you should be proud
Thanks.
of how you played. Any final words to wrap up Friday night here at Grandmasters?
No, not really. I mean, thanks everyone for supporting me. I usually see a lot of people in chat typing when I go review my games afterwards, and I just want to give them a shout out. All of the people spamming trouts to help me out, or bats to help me out, or other things that rhyme with out to help me out. It's like, it's awesome. That's the best feeling ever when you go review a game, especially after like if you lose. Like today I won, so I don't need extra cheering up. But like you lose sometimes, and then when you're reviewing your VODs and you're reviewing your match and you see people spamming stuff to help you out, you're like, this loss doesn't feel as bad now. So,
yeah, because you see the fans trying to give you the power as you're playing.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I love it when anybody in chat supports anybody, not just me. So, I always in chat encouraging these spams to help support people and stuff like that. It means a lot to the players. So if you're in chat and you think it's just a silly copy pasta that kids do, no, it means a lot to people to know that they're supported and feel good, especially after a tough loss. So keep on spamming, guys.
Yeah, while the mods are asleep, of course. All right, thanks, Firebat. Congrats on your win, and good luck in your match later this weekend.
Thank you.